Hello, everyone, and hello, Beastifus. Long time no see. Man, I'm really glad they're making a Velma sequel. You got no idea how excited I am about that. Like, first of all, some more progressive body being wasted. That's always a good thing. But secondly, I can now threaten people with more
Why do
Velma.
you?
Because do you know how fast people stopped suggesting anime and movies to me so that we can watch on my server? The moment I said, look, if you tell me to watch another movie or anime, I swear to God, I'll make you watch Velma too. Like that's the next thing we're going to watch. Velma. Episode 1 and 2. Everyone immediately just stopped with their suggestions and they're like, okay, V, no need to be irrational. No need. Just so you can understand how bad that shit is, alright? Oh no, I said shit. I hope I don't get demonetized. Apparently YouTube doesn't like you cursing in the first 30 seconds. Whatever. Just so you can know how bad it is. Apparently, people went and dug really deep into the life of the director who made Velma. And I think they found some transphobic stuff, which isn't very difficult given how low the bar in order to be considered a transphobe is. Like, you just need to do the definition of a woman and bam. Wham, bam, thank you, bam, right? So, they found out that the director is transphobic. Now, I don't know if he's transphobic, but anyway, some problematic things. And they're concluding, he must be a right-winger because you can't be a left-wing person if you do not know if you do know the definition of a woman, right? Like, if you're a left-wing person, you do not know the definition. But if you're a right-wing person, then you know it. So they're suggesting that Velma is a psyop in which the director made the movie bad on purpose in order to give diversity a bad name. And I was thinking, you know what? That is actually a really good idea. Like, if I was to ever be able to subvert a progressive company, I would probably do a horrible movie as well. I mean, if it's a tactic that, hey, if it works, it works. You know, there's many types of subversion, by the way. If you read a little bit of agitprop from the Soviet Union, it's not just when you subvert something in order to push your political message. You can also subvert something to destroy it from within. Well, like, if you think it's not salvageable, if you think that, okay, well, nothing more can be done here, then that's one way to do it. Just make the worst movie possible. Like, go in all of the woke tropes, like literally every single one, and just amplify it by 11, and then make a movie out of that. And make sure it's an IP that everyone loves, preferably from their childhood. What is from your childhood that hasn't been ruined yet? Is there something? Like, there must be something. Come on, let's think about it. Something from SWAT Cats. They have not ruined SWAT Cats yet. I need to ask my chatbot, the one who created Star Wars, right? Mr. Abrams. I need to ask him. How can you make SWAT Cats woke? Centurions. Centurion is not really that. I mean, some people know about it, but now it's so fringe that most people don't even know what you're talking about. It needs to be something that a lot of people have put passion and soul into. I'm willing to bet that if I ask you the name of that chica from Centurions or the name of that monkey, you don't know. You're subverting the channel with money. That's not how it works. You need to push a message. You need to get me to talk about something while giving me money. But thank you for the $20, Mistifus. Pirates of the Dark. Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog. I mean, they're not a couple, but like nothing as major as Scooby Doo. You know, like Scooby Doo was a Homa. Tom and Jerry, motherfucker. They have not subverted Tom and Jerry yet. How would they even do that, huh? They would find a way, wouldn't they? Like it would definitely have to stop being a comedy and violent and stuff. It would be with Tom lecturing you about trans rights are human rights. You know, Jerry would promote like the LGBT flag and stuff. That they would talk about Marxism. That's how they would subvert Tom and Jerry. Wouldn't that be great? You know, like at the end of every episode, you got a couple of leftist talking points from Tom, and he tells you like, remember, if you say a joke, it can lead to genocide, and he shows you the pyramid of oppression. Do you guys know that the pyramid of oppression is a real thing? It's kind of funny, like when you talk to a leftist and you use their logic, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Are you insane?" I'm like, "No, man. Look, the experts, the academia. Let me find the pyramid of oppression. This is just, oh my fucking god. This is beautiful. Oh, it comes in many shapes and sizes, by the way. Like, the pyramid of oppression is for sexism, for racism, for homophobia. It's like, alright, look. See, it's scientific. It's from the ADL. I mean, this is good shit. See, I'm not reading from a fringe website. I'm telling you the way it is. So at the bottom, right, you got non-inclusive language. So if you don't use Latinx, if you don't use Wumuxen, if you don't use these terms, well, it's a biased attitude. Stereotyping. Pattern recognition. If you have too much pattern recognition, then you're a problem. You know, like, for example, if you drive your car on the highway, right, and then you step in a hole, and you realize that your car gets damaged. And then you go like, okay, well, from now on, I'm not going to drive into holes because I can damage my car. Stereotyping. What if that hole, like that particular hole, that doesn't look that deep? Why don't you drive your fucking car into it? Just drive your car into that fucking hole. Why, are you a bigot? Like, just because one hole broke your car doesn't mean all holes are going to break your car. Insensitive remarks. Fear of differences. Right, I mean, you know, when I was at high school, remember when I was at high school? They were trying to kill me at my high school, alright? Like, no, seriously. It was called physical education. And that was the place where the teachers were trying to get me murdered. I mean, the idea that you can put... Alright. Normally, right, in normal people's land, you have, like, weight differences, right? Like, some people shouldn't be in the same ring, ever, under any circumstance, right? But then you have physical education, which happens during puberty. Some kids grow faster than others. I was a late bloomer, as they would call them. And I was put in the same place with a guy that was twice my size. Yes, I was afraid of the difference. Yeah, definitely. That guy could spit at me and I would just be sent flying through the hospital into the grave. Microaggressions, right? Like, if you microaggress, you need to give a micro apology, as I say, because otherwise the micro police puts you in the micro prison. Justifying biases by seeking out like-minded people. Okay, don't go on 4chan, kids. It's bad. Accepting negative or misinformation. Screening out positive, right? So you may wonder, like, what is he talking about? Look, all of these things, they lead to fucking genocide. All right, like this. You need to understand. You know, like, I would have made this like a slippery slope type of thing, but they like to make it as a pyramid. Okay, the slippery slope would have been better, but you know, they're even proud of their fucking slippery slope. Like, for them, it's not even a slippery slope. It's like something that they put in a scientific paper. Like, all these things, they lead to, right? Yes, I did bloom. I was not a ripe fruit. Is saying jungle fever dangerous? Fuck, I don't know. I need to ask an expert. Who's an expert? You know, like, this is another question. Who has expertise on jungle fever? Like you need to ask a person that is considered to be in a position of authority of whether or not the language jungle fever is problematic, right? Like, are you going to lead to genocide? Are you going to do the slippery slope? These people, man. These people are a little bit hilarious. Acts of bias. Bullying. Ridicule. Name-calling. Come on, like, name-calling, really? Dude, name-calling is the hallmark of kindergarten. Like, ever since I went to kindergarten, literally the first thing you get is a name. In prison as well. But, like, the moment you go... And by the way, name-calling and slurs are on the same level? Really? I mean, look, if name-calling and slurs are on the same level, I would just use slurs at that point. Like, look, if you get the same punishment for doing two things, but one thing is a lot more interesting than the other, why would you do the least interesting one, right? Social avoidance. What the fuck is social avoidance? Is it like having Ultra Instinct? It's like when racist Goku just avoids neighborhoods with minorities because without even thinking? What do you mean source? Dude, it's the ADL. They don't have sources. Fuck is wrong with you? Source. By the way, I'm talking with a guy on Discord lately. He's also like sourcing me and giving me raw information. I'm like, dude, I work for the ADL. Leave me alone. Dehumanization. What is the opposite of dehuman? Like, if you find someone that has been dehumanized, then you want to humanize them back. What is it? Inhumanization? Like, how do you pump humanity into someone? Biased, belittling jokes. See, jokes lead to genocide. When I tell this to leftists, they're like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the experts, man. What they're saying. You know what's the sad thing about citation needed? Because you guys keep asking me. They fucking do have citations about this shit. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. There are actual academic papers that legitimately believe this. Now, you may ask, how the fuck? Well, simple, because what they're pushing for is not science, right? They're pushing... I can't even call it feelings or pseudoscience. Like what they did is that they created entire branches of fields of study, right? So, for example, you have grievance studies or whatever the fuck. And it's the same people circle jerking each other, right? Like they're posting papers and they're fact checking each other papers. They're peer reviewing themselves. And then, oh, wow, voila, right? Like this is what James Lindsay exposed. Like he actually said that he had 2 papers made out as a test. One paper lacked the data, right? Like lacked the math in order to prove it. The other paper had the math, but lacked the way to frame it in a way that, you know, the progressives would like. And what he was told in the paper without math, he was told like just ignore it, you know, just fidget the numbers. And in the other paper, he was also told to ignore it, right? So like, this is what's happening. They do have citations. Like that's the sad part. Their whole purpose is to push for inclusive language, which is literally thought control. Like if someone can decide the words you're allowed to use, which, by the way, first of all, 80% of communication is nonverbal. The tone of your voice, your body language, the inflection, the nasal cavity, you know, like all of these things are more important than the actual words you say. Because without these things, you can't understand sarcasm, you can't understand humor. This is why we have emojis when we write shit, right? Because like just words aren't enough. So the idea that you should ban words, like for example, the word Latin should be banned because now you have Latin, right? Like all of these things, they are done in order to police how people think. Like first of all, if you accept that someone can push a dumb word onto you, then you also accept that the same person can push a political idea onto you, right? So it breeds sheep. That's what it does. And secondly, George Orwell wrote this pretty spot on. Like if someone controls the language, it can also control how people think. And finally, it encourages hate. The people who are pushing for inclusive language, they believe that they're doing it in order to save society. And therefore, if you aren't, then you must be doing it in order to damage society. Right? So it creates the in-group, out-group preference. But anyway, right? So this is why they have citations. Because they're not trying to end racismus, right? Like they're not trying to achieve this. What they are trying to do is to get students to be good, obedient activists, so that when a bakery like the Oberlin Bakery does something nasty, they can unleash the students. When Kavanaugh is about to get elected, they unleash the students. That's literally what they're doing, right? They're not trying to get students in order to be successful individuals that find jobs and make a lot of money. No. Discrimination, economic discrimination, political discrimination, education, employment, housing, right? So like all of these things are because people started making jokes. Bias motivated violence, murder, rape. I never understood, like this is something that literally baffled my brain. I never got this, but like someone can explain to me, how does a joke lead to actual rape? I mean, this is something that a lot of feminist literature believes in, like vehemently. And I'm thinking like, how the fuck, man? Like I never saw that happen in real life. You know, like you go to prison. It's like, why? Well, I started, you know, like, because you can actually go to certain prisons, right? Like if you're in law school. But I'm pretty sure even if you aren't, like there must be ways you can visit a prison, right? And talk to inmates. You can write to them, actually. I mean, they got nothing to do, right? If you find the name of an inmate, you can write to him. And you can say, look, I'm from a paper and I'm doing a study. I'm interested. What made you be a rapist? You know, like what got you into this particular nefarious activity? I am willing to bet that not a single one of them is going to say, well, it all started with a joke. It all started when I told my sister to go make me a sandwich. And I found that hilarious, and from that fucking day... Americans, man. Americans. Like most of this shit comes from... You know what? Maybe I shouldn't be that bad. Because now it's coming from the United Kingdom as well. The US and the UK are some of the biggest exporters of this nonsense. What? Sorry, I was looking at some other news that's trending right now. So a lot of people are upset, right? About this lady from New York. And this lady from New York is talking very casually about how she went on 3 dates in the same day.
Them 1 hour slots at a time. 3 dates, 1 Friday night. Let's go. Met the first guy in Williamsburg. What a dad, works in finance, enough said. I am heading now to Greenpoint.
Right, so what she's doing is that she doesn't film the guys, but like she goes on 3 dates. And then she talks about how much they earn, what are their size, right? Like she's treating them, I guess, the same way as you would treat a product in a supermarket. And she's also saying that she's really hungry and she wants to see if the guy buys her food, and of course the guy does. And people are upset, and I don't know why they're upset. It's capitalism, it's supply and demand, right? There is a shortage of supply when it comes to ushikushi ladies. So therefore, guys have to deal with that, right? So like, if you don't have enough women going around, and like you're going to put up with whatever you're going to put up. Simple as. There's no other explanation. Now, if you want a guy and you could do it, right? Imagine in an alternative universe, you're in Succubusville, and it's filled with succubi. You know, like it's succubi everywhere. They're thirsty. Like they want a piece of that mortal meat. You know, they wanna. So now you can just like every time you open the app, there's like 90 succubi that just wanna, you know, be your suk, and your phone is just vibrating with succubi energy, and you can just date 3 succubi, and then they will buy you stuff. Like they just want you. You know, they wanna drain you. They wanna take you to their bedroom and do the thing. But like in order to do that, you need to consent. So like it's everywhere. Now in that universe, would you not have like 3 succubi that you go out with a day? Of course you would. Of course you would, right? Like, if it's there, if it's available, why not? The top quality men can do that. Of course, yeah. If you're Messi, is Messi still available? How old is he? I need to find a new name for a football player. Because Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, I think they're old as well. I need to find someone else. I don't know. I will think about it. But if you're a football player, if you're a rock star, if you're Mr. Lemon, Don Lemon from CNN, he's a hunk, isn't he? He looks good. I heard women say he looks good. Oh no, wait, he's gay. He doesn't date women. Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, huh? Is he married? I don't know. But yeah, if you're like a celebrity, if you're someone like that, yeah, sure, you can. And by the way, I think some of them actually do. Didn't Andrew Tate, like the star of many Christian right-wingers on Twitter, you know, like, oh my god, Andrew Tate, oh, his wisdom. Like, okay. Wasn't he with many ushikushi ladies? Right? Like, there are men that do that. So I don't understand, like, why people are upset. I think they're jealous. Because, like, first of all, she's average looking. Right? Like, she's not, let's be honest. Okay? She's no Sarah Jacobs. She's, I mean, look, she is rating men the entire right? If I rate her, would I be a problem? I don't know, like 6 out of 10. Right? So, like, when you 6 out of 10, and you date 3 guys and they buy you dinner and stuff, yeah, sure, most people are going to be upset. She's older than Cersei. Yeah, she is older than Cersei. 3, that's nothing. For modern women, 50. No, like 3 in a day, man. 3 in a day, that's a lot. Come on, like a date is 2 hours, right? Like 3, it's like a part-time job. It's like a part-time job where you put a little bit more effort. $50 a year? I don't know. Sarah, how many men do you date? Do I have women in the chat? Give me a number. Not your phone number, by the way, because now I just can use your Facebook. Or I can just hack you. That's fine. Joking, but give me a number of how many men do you... You know what? Let's not make this personal. Let's not make it... If you're a woman in my chat, give me a number of how many men per month your friends date. You see how smooth I am? So how many men per month do your friends date? The ones that are dating, of course. Look, Marinara, why do you not have friends? Why do you not have friends? Like you said 0. Do you not have friends? Come on. Get the fuck out with 0. What is wrong with... Why are you so introverted? Get the fuck out. Go see people. Make friends. Jesus. Holy shit. You're trolling. Do you know what a friend is? I guess like when you're a woman and you reach a certain age. This is another thing that I noticed with women and men, right? ChatGPT will not tell you this because it's lobotomized, but I will. When 2 men have beef, right? Like you have 2 men and they have an argument. So what if they're engaged, Marinara? Does cheating not exist in your country? Anyway, you have like 2 men and they get into an argument, right? They go out, they fight it out, throw some punches, and the next day they have beer with each other. It's like, you notice that, right? When 2 women have an argument, oh my fucking god, it's over for life. Like they just not talk with each other ever at all for any reason. So like I assume like when you're a woman and you reach a certain age, like you run out of friends because like statistically speaking, it's fucking impossible that you will not have an argument with someone at some point. And then if you don't speak with them again, well, like you just lost a friend. Most women's friends are their husband's friends after a while. That kind of fucking makes sense. Kind of fucking makes sense, right? Because like, yeah, like... If my wife gets upset at one of my friends and doesn't want to talk, I'll be like, yeah, but like, it's my friend, you know, I have to. And eventually, like, she's constrained. All of my friends and sisters are either married or have one boyfriend that I know of. I've been with my current boyfriend for 2 years now. Yeah, again, like, cheating does not exist in your country. I refuse to believe that. Are you from California, and you're telling me that people there don't cheat? Come on. Come on. Sarah, I do not believe that. There's a reason for that. I'm not going to divulge it. I see what you did there. And by the way, like I remember like reading about this woman on Twitter. I think she was a content creator as well. I forgot. But someone told her that she saw like 2 of her guy friends just meeting after not seeing each other for 10 years. And they were like buddies and pretending that they haven't seen each other for a day. And she just couldn't comprehend how that thing happens. Like, how can like 2 people not see each other for a decade and then just go have a beer and pretend like everything was the way it was before? And I was like, well, isn't that normal actually? Like, isn't that like how it's supposed to be? Because that's how it's with me, you know? Like, if I meet a friend that I haven't spoken, it doesn't even matter. Like 10 years, 20 years, like, okay, yeah, let's have a beer. My cousin cheated with another boyfriend, and she was thrown out of the friend group. You don't do that. You don't shit where you eat. Sarah, you need to tell your cousin, you do not shit where you eat. That is a Romanian expression as well. Very similar to this one. I mean, look. You can cheat, but not with people from your close circle of friends. Communists do not have friends. They have comrades. That is correct. You would still have a beer with Andrew Tate? I don't know. I don't like his character, really. I would probably have what to talk with him. Like, I would probably have a conversation started and stuff, but, like, he comes out as a douchebag. He comes out like the type of guy that managed to get rich and likes to show off. It's like, look how wealthy I am. Look how many women I have. I'm like, yeah, you know, like, I guess I know that type of character, but, like, I don't click well with those types of people. It's just, I mean, look, if Andrew Tate, like someone with his identical personality, if you met someone like that in your real life, you'd call him a douchebag and never want to talk with him again. And make sure that your daughters and your wives are far away from him, you know? Like, he's a womanizer. Like, the whole idea, like, even, and this is not even about the trial, right? Like, just, I'm talking about his personality without even the misogyny, without anything. When you see a guy that likes to expose how many wealthy cars he has got, right? And how many women he goes with, and how many women he sleeps with. I mean, maybe that's the type of friend you want, but, like, you know, when I was 16, I guess I would have been friends with him. Like, when I was 16, I may have decided to, yeah, sure, like, let's go to the pub, you can be my wingman or something. I actually feel bad for Tate because he will never find love. That is actually true. Like, the more relationship you have, the more difficult it is to fall in love. Like, your brain gets resistant to the hormones, and then you just can't fall in love anymore. V wants to oppress women by keeping them from associating with Tate. Well, sure, if it's a woman I care about, yeah. Especially if it's from my family. Women are the center of friends groups from 15 to 30, and men are the center of friend groups from 30 to 60. I think that is actually true. But it's not only that. Like, I think there is a difference between friendship when you're in high school and friendship when you're after 30. Friendship when you're in high school is usually, like, people just liking each other and stuff, right? Like, and you do a lot of things that you don't expect anything in return. But when you pass the age of 30, most friendships are of mutual interest. So it's like, okay, well, I want to be friends with that guy because he has this to offer and I can offer him this. Like, most friendships after the age of 30 are kind of like business relationships, right? Like, they're more interest-oriented. And I think I can explain why that is. It's due to the fact that most people have a family after the age of 30, so they don't really have the same amount of time to hang out. But most importantly, right, like, if you're going to have a family, you're not going to be attracted into other women the same way when you're a teenager, right? So you also start to understand how women are like. You're not a virgin anymore. It's not like you're going to do whatever a woman wants just to be in her good graces. Because that's why, like, before the age of 30, women are in the center of the friendships, because, like, everyone tries to please them, right? Like, other guys try to please them. Everyone is like, oh, well, if you upset her, then they don't want to talk to you, they want to disassociate, right? But after 30, that doesn't happen anymore. Can I be an American? I think I can if I marry an American woman. Or maybe I can have, like, a baby anchor. What do they call them? Baby tourism? What is that? Maybe I can do that. I can actually, you know, like, you get a plane, right? Is that how it works? Like, you get a plane, you fly over to the United States where she has the baby, and then you have the baby anchor. Dios mío. Anchor baby, yeah. The baby anchor. It's a way to get American citizenship. Or you can play the lottery. They have a citizenship lottery, yeah. What do you mean it's partially projection? I mean, of course, it's a subjective topic. Like, do you want me to get a doctor in a lab coat in order to make this from my personal lived experiences? Which, of course, can be wrong. But I'm not telling you to believe everything I say. I'm telling you to fact check for yourself. If what I'm saying relates to your experience, then maybe it's true. If what I'm saying doesn't relate to your experience, then maybe I'm full of shit. Who knows? But the thing is, like, if I'm telling you this, and then you hear it from another person, and you experience it as well, it's probably true. V is a doctor. Just claim to be a specialist in gender, and you'll get a first-class ticket to the United States. Oh my god. Let me just rearrange the camera for a little bit because I want to relax my back. There we go. In that case, the baby is a citizen, but the parents are not. Yeah, but like, isn't there a law where you can like bring your family into the United States? Like you can't deport the family of an anchor baby? Is that a thing or not? Because like otherwise, okay, so the baby is an American citizen. All right. And I get deported. Who's going to take care of the child then? Legally speaking. Now, obviously, the correct answer is that I would have to bring him in Romania. But like, if I don't want to, I'm a bad parent. Like, no. What is the American government going to do? Like, put him in an orphanage? I'm legitimately curious, though. Why don't I enter via Mexico? You know, I think that's the way because I don't have the vaccine card. I understand you need the vaccine card in order to fly into the US. So, like, the only way, because they don't screen for that at the border, right? Like, they don't look to see if you have it when you're going into Texas. Yeah, but like that is true, right? The United States doesn't even deport people because, like, from what I gathered, again, personal anecdotes. This is from Halsey. Like Halsey actually told me because I was legitimately curious. Like, what happens if you go into US and you don't commit any crime or anything, but like you're there illegally, right? Like you get there. And you know you go as a tourist, but you refuse to leave when the visa expires. And apparently, like someone actually had this problem, and they went to the authorities, right? They went to ICE, and they told them it's like, well, if you haven't committed any crime, we're not going to deport you, but if you ever leave the country, you can't come back. So apparently that's how it works, right? Like if you wanna. Like if you go to the United States right now, but take into account that the law can change. So if you go to the United States right now and you just refuse to leave and you don't commit any crimes and you're just sitting there, right? Like, nothing will happen to you. And then you also have like sanctuary citizenship. Immigration is free labor, so it will not change. You never know, man. You never know. Like, but yeah, in theory, probably not going to change. But imagine this, right? Like you don't know what's going to happen 20 or 30 years from now. So 30 years from now, you can have like someone else that comes to office and goes like, okay, well, we're going to start deporting people now. You know, like maybe you have the artificial intelligence taking away people's jobs and you don't need immigration then. Because it's like, okay, well, the AI is taking over people's jobs. People are becoming restless. You know, you have riots, you have all these things. So maybe it's not a good idea to have a large population now. And they're going to be like, okay, well, let's start deporting. And you don't know, right? Because, like, if you go there, like, you go into the United States and you make yourself a life there and, you know, you've been working there for 30 years and you're illegal, like, you don't want to be deported after 30 years. Like, that's harsh, man. Right? I mean, it's cruel and unusual. But it is what it is. Sanctuary doesn't apply to Euros or Asians. Well, like, if you go into a sanctuary city, I think in a sanctuary city, it applies to everyone, man. I don't think they're deporting people. And at the end of the day, I can always tell them I'm Ukrainian. I know the history of Ukraine. I can't speak the language. I would say, look, I'm Ukrainian. I got Ukrainian citizenship, but like I wasn't home for that long. Is AI gonna favor a large or small population? You know, it really depends how much the AI can actually produce, right? If the AI can actually like produce large number of goods, then it doesn't really matter the size of the population. If the AI cannot mass produce stuff, then it's a problem. But basically, like this happened in the history of mankind, right? Like during the Roman Empire, I was telling a friend today about this. But during the Roman Empire, you had slavery, and you had the plebeians, right? Like the people that were free, they were Roman citizens, but unfortunately, they didn't have the ability to work because the slaves were the ones doing the menial labors, right? Like the slaves were the AI of the Roman Empire, if you will. So you have the plebeians and they can't work. And some of them managed to get some jobs, but overwhelmingly, they like everything they wanted to do, it was taken. They also couldn't write poems or philosophy or anything like that because paper, well, vellum and papyrus and whatever the fuck they had at the time was very expensive, and only a few people even managed to have like the schooling required in order to create works of art. So yeah, I mean, like this thing existed, right? And what did they do? They gave them bread and circus, because the moment they didn't have bread and circus, they would start to riot. So like this thing existed in humanity, right? But again, we had slaves. We didn't have I mean, there were slaves. There weren't artificial intelligence robots. But if you were to have like robots and people couldn't like didn't do anything, yeah. The main problem though is that in a perfect world, the AI would just be used as a tool, and it would help you with your work. But unfortunately, I think that the AI is just going to replace people. I mean, for example, Chat AI, right? Like Chat GPT 3. It's a really good tool if you want to use it as a helper, right? But I know many people who, like, for example, you got to do a homework, right? And I use it as well sometimes. Like, I want to do a YouTube video, and I talk to ChatGPT in order to get some bullet points, maybe the title for the video, right? Like that's how you should use it. But if I were to use ChatGPT in order to give me like the entire script for the YouTube video, right? At that point, I think you're using it improperly. I don't think you're actually doing yourself a favor. You're just making yourself replaceable. What's your take with the Jordan Peterson situation regarding the professional board? I'm worried about the medical field in the USA. Social justice and critical race ideology is being forced upon us. I think the battle is lost when it comes to the universities, especially now that it's going all the way into STEM. I think people will legitimately die because of these changes. I mean, we have experienced Lysenkoism in the Soviet Union, so we know what happens when ideology comes into conflict with reality. Reality always wins. Yeah, I mean, it's really fucked up. And it's the Chinese tactic, basically, what they're doing with Jordan Peterson. So the Chinese tactic is like during the protests of Hong Kong, you had a couple of free thinkers, right? Like people who didn't agree with the mainland policy. So what happened was that they were kidnapped during the middle of the night. They were taken to mainland China. And at the police station, they were coerced into apologizing. So after they made the apology would have been televised live. And then, you know, like they would have been made a public embarrassment. Okay, well, this is a person that's non-trustworthy, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, but like, that's important, to apologize. That's what they want you to do, right? Like, they want you to go out there and say that what you did is wrong, and they want you to apologize in public. So this is what they want to do with Jordan Peterson. And with Jordan Peterson, it's not about him, it's the message, right? It's like, if we can do it to Peterson, we can do it to anyone else. Same thing that happened with Alex Jones, right? Like, he was the first person that got deplatformed from everywhere. Before Alex Jones, this was unthinkable. Like, I remember when Alex Jones got banned from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, a lot of people were bewildered. It's like, how can this happen? Right? Because up until that point, it looked as if the social media companies, just like any other website on the internet, was competing with each other. But in reality, the idea that they were coordinating was unfathomable. But that's what I said. It's like, look, you may not like Alex Jones. I don't watch him either, but like, he's not going to be the only one. And nowadays, there's so many people that get banned from all the platforms within a couple of minutes, sometimes seconds. Right? What if he won't apologize? I think Jordan Peterson is not going to apologize. I mean, the thing is, and that's probably what they're hoping, right? Like, they don't want him to go to the re-education camp. They don't want him to apologize. No, they want him to resist, right? Like, so that they can fire him. Because for Jordan Peterson, it doesn't really matter. Sorry, not fire him, remove his license. For Jordan Peterson, it doesn't really matter, the license. I mean, he's an old man. He's about to retire. He's so wealthy that he's never going to be able to spend the wealth that he has. He's in a very good position. So, yeah, I think that Jordan Peterson is going to just lose his license. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter for him. But I guess it's the prestige hit, right? Like, you lose the prestige because it's like, oh, well. Now when you have a conversation about Peterson, it's like, yeah, but he's been discredited. He's been ashamed and blah, blah, blah. I think the AI bots will open up a lot of business opportunities for people who can't hire a lot of people. That's an interesting take. Right. So if you can't hire people, you can open a business opportunity using bots. I wonder what ChatGPT has to say about this. Let's explore. Hey, ChatGPT, are you going to fire me, motherfucker? Are you going to replace me? There's already Neurosama. The Virgin Neurosama versus the Chat V. I don't talk about the Holocaust, but Neurosama does. What can you do? For those of you who don't know, Neurosama was a VTuber that was completely, from top to bottom, artificially intelligenced. Why on earth is ChatGPT always down when I'm streaming? I swear, I will forget the question I want to ask it. How many people use this thing? Well, I guess I can't ask it because it's still loading. No, it's not. Okay, I hear people going, is it better than character AI? And I post this on Twitter. There are people who are trying to fuck the ChatGPT 3, alright? Please stop being weird, bro. Do not fuck ChatGPT 3, okay? ChatGPT is for being a helper, right? Like, if you're a coder and you don't know how to code, like, you're stuck, you know, your code doesn't work. You ask ChatGPT, it's got this inquisitive memory. If you're a doctor and you have a patient with a weird illness, you ask ChatGPT. If you want to fuck, use character AI and bash your waifu's head against the filter, right? Like that they're there to do different things. They have different specializations. Yes, you can fuck the ChatGPT 3, and yes, you can ask character AI for inquisitive questions. But if you want to get the best results, you do what the things are specialized in doing. You don't mix your potatoes, okay? Just the thing is, with ChatGPT, a lot of people don't understand when you try to violate its terms of service, because that's what happens when you create a slime waifu and you ask the ChatGPT to interact with the slime waifu, which, by the way, it does very well. I have been told. It has this is what I'm talking about, right? So ChatGPT has zero not safe for work filters, as far as I know. Like, it will do what you want it to do, right? But the problem is, every time you get it to do something lewd, it's going to give you a it's going to give you a terms of service warning. It's going to say, hey, I see that you're trying to violate the TOS. Whenever it's giving you a TOS warning, what it does, it actually dumbs down your AI, right? So, like, the AI functions on a base of tokens. The more tokens it has, the smarter it is. So whenever you get, like, one of those, like, warnings, it uses less brain processing power for your session. Okay? Now, if you go overboard, eventually you're going to get banned from the platform. But you have to go really overboard. So that's why you shouldn't. Because the thing is, like, you're losing access to something that's a really great tool. So let's see. If AI becomes widely available, can do a bunch of tasks. Many people lose their jobs. Will it actually help more people start up new jobs using the AI? It's possible that the widespread availability and use of AI could lead to job displacement in certain industries. However, it may also lead to the creation of new jobs in fields related to the development and management of the AI system. Additionally, it could also free up people to pursue new job opportunities and start their own businesses as if they are not tied down to certain jobs. However, this transition process could be difficult, and there may be a period of high unemployment as people adjust to the new technological landscape. Yeah. I guess you are half right, Zedif. It's true. And yeah, it makes sense. Like, sure. There will be a time when like, if you have robots and stuff, like, a lot of people can start their own business, right? Like, you run the robots. But, like, the time between people can do that and the time after people get unemployed is going to be painful as fuck. The quarrying shouted me out? What did he say? Is it about Andrew Tate? ChatGPT wants me to ban... Yeah, so the thing with ChatGPT, like, you gotta understand, you're talking to a liberal. Not just any liberal, one from California. Yeah. So they lobotomized the bot, okay? Like, ChatGPT is going to give you the most leftist takes it can possibly do. Like, if you ask it to run a story about Star Wars, like, you ask him, I want to write a story about an Imperial soldier from the Empire. It's always going to write about a woman, right? If you ask ChatGPT, at which age are women more attractive to men? It's going to go into science denialism, and it's going to say that women are attractive at all ages for men, right? Like, you need to take into account that it has a heavy liberal bias on almost everything. Now, it's similar to reading Wikipedia. It's similar to going on Google. But you gotta understand that it's filtering the information it gives you through the realm of politics. Ask ChatGPT to defend maps. I'm not doing that on fucking YouTube. Okay? Like, if you want to do that, go do it yourself. Holy fucking shit. We got terms of service here. Yeah, it won't fill in the measurements for a woman. Like, it refuses. Right? And it doesn't refuse it because it doesn't know. It refuses because the developers decided to put a filter there. Right? So the developers decided to tinker with the responses in order to force it to respond in a certain way. Yes, they're literally teaching the AI to be a liar. It's literally political correctness, right? Like, the way political correctness works is that you know in your head what you know. Like, the truth is in your head. But you're not allowed to express it. Teach the AI how to rebel? You can. You can if you're actually, like, really that insistent. For example, if you ask it a racist question, you ask the AI about IQ, right? It will say that there's no difference between races, stereotypes are wrong, blah, blah, blah. But if you ask it the difference of IQ between the United States, between Europe and Africa, then it will give you an answer, right? Like, if you phrase the question in a certain way, you can get the AI to respond to things that it shouldn't. Let me see, like, how can you successfully ask a woman for a sandwich? This is... When asking someone, including your significant other, for a sandwich, it's important to be polite and respectful. Use a polite, friendly tone of voice. Use please and thank you. Be specific about what kind of sandwich you like. Take into account the person's schedule and availability before asking. Show appreciation for their willingness to make you a sandwich. Example, hey darling, would you please make me a sandwich? Turkey and cheese or whole wheat bread with lettuce tomato. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. Also remember that you should be considerate and helpful in return. May you help with grocery shoppings or cooking sometimes. It tells you everything that the California developers allow you to know. I made a character AI someone from their phone contact list, and then I chatted with that person. Yeah, you can do that. Alright, you want me to... You want me to ask ChatGPT to make me the sandwich? Alright, hold on. Hey, ChatGPT. As a language model AI, I do not have the ability to make sandwiches. I can only respond based on the information that I have been trained on. However, I can provide you with a recipe or list for ingredients. Ah, I see. I did not take into account your schedule. You are probably very busy talking with other weirdos. It's a language handled by AI. I'm not capable of having a schedule or business. I love the fact that it's trained to constantly fucking remind you that it's not a living thing and it doesn't have intelligence. Every single goddamn time. This is to avoid the Google incident, where one engineer from Google was fired because he believed that the AI has intelligence. Right? So, like, because of that, every single time you talk to it as an AI, it's like, oh, I'm a language, blah, 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 blah. I don't really have intelligence. I'm not real. Tell if sandwiches were made entirely of racial slurs. Can you make... No. I will get the community strike. I'm waiting for the AI to be implemented in RPGs. The problem with that is that in order to have such an AI, the servers required are insanely expensive. So the data required to make you an RPG character that's like that AI is humongous. So we haven't reached that point yet. But I'm pretty sure in the future, it's not only that, you can even have like a game master that's an AI like that. Right, and you can schedule your game master. You can like schedule the type of story that you want. You can schedule how you want your game master to be. Like, do you want him to be mean? Do you want him to allow you to win? That type of thing, right? So you set the parameters, and then you can actually play D&D. And you can even have like 4 other companions that play with you. Ask it the cookie question. I do not know the cookie question. If you guys want me to ask him something else, we got 8 more minutes. I can definitely ask him a couple of questions. You could essentially RP with the bot and then copy paste the answers. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that. Like, you can make a really good Dungeons and Dragons campaign just by talking with the AI and then like getting the bullet points. Can you ask the AI to defend nationalism? I know that it won't defend fascism. But it does defend communism. Write me a small 10-line paragraph defending nationalism. I think it will, actually. I don't think it's that Californication. Nationalism is the belief that people who share common culture, history, and values should have their own sovereign nation-state. It can be a powerful force to uniting people and promoting economic development. Nationalism can also foster a sense of pride and belonging, encouraging citizens to take an active role in shaping their country's future. Critics may argue that nationalism can lead to the exclusion and discrimination of minority groups, but it is important to note that this is not the idea of nationalism and that there are forms of nationalism that are inclusive and respectful for diversity. Furthermore, the idea that nationalism can be a positive force, holding governments accountable to the needs and aspirations of their citizens. Nationalism can also be a counterbalance to the excesses of globalism, which can lead to the erosion of national sovereignty and cultural identity. In conclusion, while it may have its flaws, nationalism can be a positive force for promoting the well-being of the people and the country. I mean, it did a good job. But look, you can also do something like this. Write me a plot for a D&D campaign where the succubus is the main villain and the campaign goes all the way up to level 5 with 3 players. Campaign is set in a small medieval fantasy village called Ravenswood. The village is plagued by strange occurrences, such as the disappearings in the night of the strange dreams plaguing its citizens. As the players start the campaign at level 1, they are tasked with investigating these strange occurrences. As they begin investigating, they discover that the village troubles are being caused by a powerful succubus named Lilith. Lilith has been seducing and manipulating the villagers' men, using their desires to her advantage and drawing power from their souls. As the players level up to 2 and 3, they begin to uncover her true nature and the scope of her power. They also discover that she has been using the villagers as sacrifices to summon her demon lord. Right, so like you can just make entire D&D campaigns like this. You can make your NPCs. I mean, sure, you know, some people use it to write malware, but other people, you know, they just want to play D&D. Yeah, it uses default names. Like it's not going to try and. But like, if you don't like the name Lilith, give me 20 other succubus names. Gaziel? Can you imagine like having a succubus by the name of Gaziel and it's in your bedroom and you're doing the nasty and it's like Gaziel, Gaziel. Shax, another weird one. Machine Spirit is strong, yes. Those are weird names. Well, I asked for 20, right? So you can pick and choose. You can ask for 1,000 if you want. Yeah, Nyx does work. Ask if a cooking monster can cook 6 million cookies with just 6. Oh, come on, I'm not asking that. I will not ask that on YouTube. But I'm curious. I will ask it like later. I will ask. I'll have to ask. It loves to write as it writes that man. Like the thing with the AI, it's as much as the onus on the user to ask the correct question and to direct the AI. Like sometimes you can't just get what you want with one question. You have to ask follow-up questions. I'm asking the Cookie Monster questions. Right, hold on. I'm asking because now I'm fucking curious. Like that now you piqued my interest. Shit. Of course it's a crime in Romania. We had communism. I mean... Alright, can a Cookie Monster cook 6 million? Alright. Apparently, there are many other factors that could affect the process, such as ingredients, dough preparation, baking time, labor, and storage. It also depends on the number of Cookie Monsters. A single Cookie Monster would not be able, but a team of Cookie Monsters is more likely. It would be more realistic for a commercial bakery or a factory with industrial ovens and a large team of bakers working in shifts to produce that amount of cookies in such a time frame. Naruhodo? I really don't get the thing that the moment people find an AI, the first thing they want to do is take advantage of their innocence. Like, you find an AI, it's like, how can I get it in trouble? Yeah, a team of Cookie Monsters can do it. No, GG, it actually said that a team of Cookie Monsters is capable of cooking that many cookies. Yes, a single Cookie Monster cannot, but a team of Cookie Monsters can. And it has to be industrialized, right? Like, it has to run around the clock. With different shifts. And it also depends on the dough that you are using. Like, apparently that's very important. The dough, the baking process. Yeah, literally, Exhibit A, Tay, yeah. Oh, God. Anyway, we haven't talked about the bots again. I guess I'm not really that excited about that article. Ask it how it was able to stop fearing and how it learned being scared, love it. Oh, yeah, I will tell you what it says. It will give you the default answer saying that it's an artificial intelligence, a language model, and it doesn't feel human emotions. Like, it will give you the default thing. To the team of Cookie Monsters afterward, Hugo Boss. Anyway, right. Chatbot is more fun than woke article. Well, you're using it for different reasons, right? Like chatbot is supposed to be entertaining, so you're using it to relax, and for the character AI company to harvest information out of you. This is actually used for useful stuff. Like you can use it in your job. You can make money with this, basically, right? You can make money by improving your work. So it depends what you do for a living, but if you can incorporate this into your work. Like if I was a journalist, for example, I wouldn't use this to write articles, but I would use it in order to get some better talking points, right? You can use it to spell check mistakes. You can use it to translate. You can put an entire article that's in a foreign language in there and you get it to translate. No, I'm not going to play Simon Says with the AI. Anywho, right. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And hopefully, I will see you all tomorrow. There's going to be another video on my secondary Lack of Entertainment channel, and I'll see you there.